growing up black in the UK and growing up black in the US are two totally different experiences. Like for me personally, I learned what it was to be black living in America. As y'all hear me, like I have an American accent as well as everyone else in my family. I blended in very well, like better than everybody in my family. There's a lot of people that thought like, oh, I was just like from Charlotte or from Kinston or like I was from the States. But as I kept on talking and like sharing more of my story, people understood like, oh, nah, he actually not from here. But like one big thing about like living in the States, about like being black, your blackness can speak for you. Like you can be black out loud. It doesn't matter. Like nobody can take that away from you. But being black in the UK is almost like I'm not gonna say you have to like dim your light, but it's almost like you have to conserve your blackness out here. Like funny enough, I kind of realized this the other day. It's not socially acceptable to be a coon as a black person in America. But in the UK, it's more socially acceptable and people won't bat an eye at you because it's just like, why not? I don't know, it's weird.
So, Black Americans versus Black British. I was not even going to get involved in this conversation, but somebody tagged me in a couple of videos, and so here I am. So, I did not see the original video from the Afro-American woman, but I did see the video of the Black British woman who went the F off. And this is what I have to say about both videos. I think that this level of foolish division is really what has kept us globally conquered for centuries across the board, and I'm not here for any of it. As an Afro-American woman who has traveled, I currently live in Europe. I have the absolute pleasure to meet so many beautiful women from all over the African diaspora, including Black British women and continental African women from all over the continent of Africa. So for me, I just cannot participate in this level of foolery. I think it's ignorant on both sides. And here is what I really see that's quite ignorant. I'll start with our side first. On the Afro-American side, I see that because we don't travel, a lot of us do feel that we own blackness and that everyone in the African diaspora is supposed to feel like us and think like us about certain issues, and that is just not the case. Afro-American people, we do not own blackness. I've said this before, and we need to understand that other people in the African diaspora have their own unique cultures, their own unique history, and their own points of view on various topics. However, on the other side of the pond, I noticed that Black British people and continental Africans do not understand that Afro-Americans, we have our own culture, which I feel like you all try to diminish because you don't really understand the history. Afro-Americans, we have our own food. We have our own music. We have our own dances. We have our own traditions. We have our own poetry. We have our own literature. We have our own Renaissance period within the United States of America. And that is something that we celebrate and that we love. And so for you to diminish that by saying we don't have a culture because you don't know it or you just haven't picked up a history book or gone on YouTube to see about our history is also very, very wrong. I think especially for the women, it is time for us to put our egos aside, step into our feminine, and create bridges. Start asking deeper questions to spark conversations so that we can learn about each other rather than keeping up this foolery to tear each other down in front of the others, mind you, on this here internet. So what do I think about it? I think it's ignorant. I think it's dumb. I think it needs to be stopped. And I think that we need to learn about each other because it's clear that on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, ignorance is going on about one another. And with what's coming on this planet, we don't need that. And that's all I have to say about it.
Hello everyone, welcome to Auntie Ami channel. How are you? How are you doing? Today I've got very interesting topic. I know the last video I uploaded, some of you were so upset about the topic, but at the end of the day, let me remind you, everything about this channel is for entertainment purpose. You can comment and try to share your opinion. It's not about getting upset, but today is not about that. It's about the difference between Black British and Black American. What is the difference? Let me know what you think. I'll play some few videos so that you can hear what others are saying about the difference. And then after that, I will also try to share with you information I've gathered about the same topic. Let's listen together before we can divide on such issues and topics. Oh my God, so sensitive. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let me know what you think. Let's listen.
What's going on? Back again, man. So this video right here, I'm gonna call this one. This is gonna be a special one because I haven't seen nobody here online address this, right? So let's talk about Black Britons, okay, or Black Brits, whatever you like to call them, right? Black Brits, man. You will see them online making comments about Black America, right? And I'm gonna just give you the difference between us off the jump. I'm gonna give you the difference between us from the very foundation. And after this, it's really nothing else to talk about. Black Americans, we come from a lineage, right? Of innovation, of resistance, civil rights, all kind of dang old good stuff, right? Our music, let's not even go there. Food, inventions, that's what we come from a lineage of, right? Okay. Foundational Black Americans have been here before America became America, even before the 13 colonies. You understand? Now, the Black Brits, I'm going to tell you straight up, Black Brits, you're nothing but an immigrant. Yeah, I said that. You're nothing but an immigrant, okay? Your parents decided to leave their country, to give up on their country, and go to the UK, okay? You're an immigrant, whether you're first generation, second generation, third generation, which that is fine. If the UK welcomed you guys and you got your citizenship and you can live and you can, that's fine. But that's the foundational difference between you and a Black American, okay? The very difference is you chose to leave your damn country. You know what I'm saying? Black Americans here stood on business. We didn't run to a great place. We built a great place. That's the difference, okay? And out of all of our accomplishments and everything, all the things we've done, everything that Black Americans here are loved for around the dang world, you didn't contribute to none of that shit. But for some reason, you call yourself a Black Brit. And I know why you call yourself a Black Brit. Because you have melanin. But guess what? That kind of black ain't this kind of black. Just trying to tell you the dang old truth, okay? All right? And it annoys me. It's kind of like that this concept of proximity to greatness kind of thing that y'all like to munch off of, that y'all like to leech off of, all the Black accomplishments and shit. The shit we done did here in America and all that, everything we done took around the world globally that's loved and respected. Y'all never played a part in it, but y'all always wanted to be associated with it, even though you didn't put your hand in it. So that's another difference between a Black Brit and a Black American, okay? That's another difference. And I'm sorry to Black Brits, your definition of blackness is just like every other dang immigrant, just melanin. That's all you talking about. When you say black, that's all you talking about. It's melanin. But when Black Americans say, you know what I'm saying, black, we're talking about a specific people with a specific heritage, culture, inventions, all that damn stuff. Music, contributions to the world. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that. Contributions to the world. Here in America, we fought in the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, Desert Storm, so forth and so forth. We got blood, sweat, and equity in our country over here. We've actually done shit. And not only have we actually done shit in America, we've done shit over there in Europe, which is the reason why they love Black Americans over there in Europe. Okay? Which is the reason why y'all go around in Europe trying to dress like a dang old Black American and be a Black American so y'all can be accepted, because at the end of the day, y'all ain't done shit. That's just the truth. So that's the difference between when these foreigners say black, when Black Brits say black, and when Black Americans say black. We talking about a specific people here, okay? Okay? That's what I'm saying. And
and the only reason I'm making this video, because black Brits always got something to say, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, dude, you're irrelevant. Even over there in Britain, you're irrelevant. Okay? Majority of you are what, Jamaican and Nigerian, and y'all left y'all dang country. That's it. There is nothing over there that y'all do that we follow. Nothing. Nothing y'all do over there that we copy. Nothing. Now, that's not to take nothing away from Britain. I'm sure it's a pretty nice dang old place or whatnot. Y'all got y'all own thing y'all do over there. But when y'all say black Brit, it ain't the same as black American. Let's stop playing. On no scale. It's not the same. Majority of y'all are the descendants of immigrants. Not the descendant of fighters. Not the descendant of innovators. None of that. Okay? You're just a descendant of somebody that left their country and said, fuck Africa or fuck Jamaica or whatever when the criminality. And you was like, look, we need to come over here and we need to get up under white people. That's all y'all are. That's it. That is it. Why do you think y'all complain all the time about why y'all not in our spaces or why we don't let y'all in our spaces? How about you create your own damn space? Y'all be mad about hip-hop. How can they don't let us in hip-hop? How can they don't let us in their space of hip-hop? Dude, how about you create your own damn genre? How about that? Create a genre. And I hope it's dope so everybody can like it and, all that dang old good dang old stuff. But begging to be a part of some shit that ain't yours just ain't cool. Begging to be a part of some shit that you ain't never put nothing into is not cool. That's bum shit. You don't do that. You understand? So that's another difference. Okay, between black Brits and black America. It's just not the same. I'm sorry. Think about it. Like any black person, right? Any black American right now, okay? When you went over there to Europe, anywhere over there, okay? Like seriously, what was your experience? How did the countrymen over there treat you? Okay? When I was in Germany for 3 years, okay? When I served in the military. When I was over there in Europe, I never had any problems, bro. Okay? The club owners loved me. Citizens were cool, laid back, really nice. They asked you a bunch of questions. You asked them a bunch of questions. They put you up on game about some of their food and all that gang of stuff. And they would ask us questions and stuff. Me as a black American, I had an awesome experience over there in Europe. Never been to Britain, though, but a lot of other places over there I've been. And I've got nothing but love. Not one European white person when I went over there tried to kick me out of their country or tried to say I wasn't welcome or got tired of me because I wasn't trying to change their cultural landscape or anything like that. I never received a problem. Ever. Even with the damn police officers, I never received a problem when I went over there to Europe, bro. Never. When I was over there in Europe, right, as a specialist promotable, doing my dang old thing, trying to get my 5, okay. I had purchased Challenger. This was like around the time Challengers had first came out and shit. So I shipped one over there, right? And majority of times I got pulled over by the cops. It was just to look at the car. That's all it was for, just to look at the car. They never gave me no dang old problems. They might have asked for my ID or whatever, look at the car and be like, oh man, you got a really nice car, this and this and that. Gone. I've never had no problems as a black American when I went to any other country. And I'm sure the experience would be the same if I went over to China or if I went over to Japan, any of those places. I wouldn't have no problems. Matter of fact, I heard over there in China and Japan and these Asian countries, y'all over there doing stupid shit like committing crimes and trying to dress and walk and talk like us and stuff and claiming to be us and y'all not us. That's what I hear y'all foreign melanated people is doing. Y'all need to stop that shit. Okay? Y'all really need to stop that. All right? But yeah, there are so many nuanced differences between black Americans and black Brits, okay? We are not the same in no shape or form, okay? We just not, and that's fine, and that's beautiful, okay? Because who we are is in history books already. You can read about it. All of our accomplishments, bro, you can read about it, okay? I don't need to gain confidence, you know what I'm saying, then just make up shit. We actually have shit we can look up that has not played a huge role in not just America, but in other countries as well, outside of America. Can you do the same? Nope. I mean, that's just what it is. honestly. So that's the big difference, man. Black Americans, we don't just make an impact in our country. We make impacts globally. Not online talking mess on raggedy podcasts, but actually doing things in the physical. You could read about Black America in World War I and World War II. How many of you could say the same? But yeah. But that's the difference between Black America and Black Brits, y'all. Y'all have a nice day.
I've been seeing a lot of TikToks from UK Brits, especially the black ones, that are like, yes, Americans have left the app, we can have peace, we can seize the land, we can take over the whole of social media now, we got an opportunity. 12 hours of the TikTok ban while you make your video cussing out Americans and they're going to come back and see it. Why? I don't understand it. What I do understand from a more self-awareness point of view with Black Brits versus Black Americans is that it's an issue of racism that impacts both Black Brits and Black Americans differently. You have to understand the historical context first. When you look at Black Americans, a lot of their content is kind of centered on deconstruction, decolonizing, slavery, understanding who they are, because they don't have connection to their identity. So they've had to understand their identity through deconstructing slavery. Whereas Black Brits, we don't have to do it because we have connection to who we are. But a lot of our conversations tend to go on colonialism, colorism, understanding things around the Windrush generation. I'm not even going to touch on that idiot Nigel Farage. I will in the next video maybe. If you ain't seen it, you'll see it. But yeah, we tend to focus on things like that. We cannot debate the way in which the Black Americans are more unified than Black UK people. Let's think about it. Whenever there is an injustice in America, no matter what it is, people come together. Over here, yeah, we are together for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and then it's on to the next, and then it's, we got to do better, we got to do this, we got to do that, and nothing ever comes because we don't lead with intention. The only thing that I can see as intention has been Chris Gaber. Like, there have been a lot of people who continually, that I know personally, campaigning for what's happened. Again, differences. In America, you can learn about American Black history. We didn't learn nothing about British Black history or the Black Poppy, or understood how, when I mean Black Poppy, if you don't know it, the Black men and women that served in the war. There were Black men and women from the UK that served in the war, but they're never honoured. Things like that. We tend to often have to navigate this through a hybrid way of being Black and British. Whereas I look at myself as Black and British, but I have a heritage of being Caribbean because I've been very connected to the Caribbean, being Jamaica for me. I grew up with my grandmother who passed at 114, so the things I learned about Jamaica, my understanding was grounded in history. So I tend to say a lot of old school things that when the older generation hear me say it, they're like, how do you know that? You're too young to know that. But again, I got raised by someone who was there through World War I and World War II. So, it's very interesting when you kind of have that layer of history. Some don't know who they are or where they come from or what they're about. So often they can only take the British history of what they learned, which is his history. For example, the US tends to be very US-centric. It's all about them as a Black person, as identity, whereas I feel Black Brits, we travel and we get around and we learn these things. We learn about different types of Black people because guess what? Equity means that we started differently. We're not all the same. But whenever I've gone to America, when the Queen was alive, people say to me, oh my God, do you know the Queen? Why would I want to know her? I'm aware of myself. Why would I want to know the Queen? And to some that hear this may feel offended because they're into the royal family, don't give a heck. I never wanted to meet the woman. That was just me. But it speaks to the narrow-mindedness of some Americans. And as soon as they say about food and comparisons about food, about bangers and mash and beans, it makes me know that they're not aware of Black people. They're not aware of how diverse the UK is and how connected in culture we are compared to what they are. And that's not a complaint to diminish in America. But to end, I don't know how Black Brits could be so happy that Black Americans are leaving the app, because we know that Black America influences the world. And that's just the facts. Whenever they do anything, we copy it. They are trendsetters. And that's the reality. The shift can be, we can become trendsetters, but we can't do it in silos. One has to work together, but America's already got that unpacked where we are still behind. Let me know what you think. Did it make sense? Do you feel like I was reaching? That's fine, tell me. We'll have a conversation in the comments.
So Black Americans versus Black British. I was not even going to get involved in this conversation, but somebody tagged me in a couple of videos, and so here I am. So I did not see the original video from the Afro-American woman, but I did see the video of the Black British woman who went the F off. And this is what I have to say about both videos. I think that this level of foolish division is really what has kept us globally conquered for centuries across the board, and I'm not here for any of it. As an Afro-American woman who has traveled, I currently live in Europe. I have the absolute pleasure to meet so many beautiful women from all over the African diaspora, including Black British women and continental African women from all over the continent of Africa. So for me, I just cannot participate in this level of foolery. I think it's ignorant on both sides. And here is what I really see that's quite ignorant. I'll start with our side first. On the Afro-American side, I see that because we don't travel, a lot of us do feel that we own Blackness and that everyone in the African diaspora is supposed to feel like us and think like us about certain issues, and that is just not the case. Afro-American people, we do not own Blackness. I've said this before, and we need to understand that other people in the African diaspora have their own unique cultures, their own unique history, and their own points of view on various topics. However, on the other side of the pond, I noticed that Black British people and continental Africans do not understand that Afro-Americans, we have our own culture, which I feel like you all try to diminish because you don't really understand the history. Afro-Americans, we have our own food. We have our own music. We have our own dances. We have our own traditions. We have our own poetry. We have our own literature. We have our own Renaissance period within the United States of America. And that is something that we celebrate and that we love. And so for you to diminish that by saying we don't have a culture because you don't know it, or you just haven't picked up a history book or gone on YouTube to see about our history, is also very, very wrong. I think especially for the women, it is time for us to put our egos aside, step into our feminine, and create bridges. Start asking deeper questions to spark conversations so that we can learn about each other, rather than keeping up this foolery to tear each other down in front of the others, mind you, on this here internet. So what do I think about it? I think it's ignorant. I think it's dumb. I think it needs to be stopped. And I think that we need to learn about each other, because it's clear that on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, ignorance is going on about one another. And with what's coming on this planet, we don't need that. And that's all I have to say about it.
According to my sources, there are some shared experiences among Black people in the UK and the US, but the history, culture, and social dynamics of each country make the experience quite different. Historical background. Black in the UK. Most Black British communities come from the Caribbean. For example, Windrush era. I've got a video about Windrush, so you can go back to my videos and learn more about Windrush era, Africa, and the later migration waves. Black presence in the UK is significant but smaller in number. So cultural impact is strong but not dominant. The UK's racial dynamics grew out of colonial history, immigration, and class structures. Black in America. The majority of Black Americans are descendants of enslaved Africans. Centuries of slavery, Jim Crow segregation, and the civil rights movement deeply shape modern Black American identity. Race is central part of American society, discussed openly and politically. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. The UK often avoids discussing race directly. People call this a polite racism. Racism tends to be subtle, institutional, or disguised as class issues. The Black population is smaller, so many grow up as the only Black family in certain areas. That's the UK. What about the Black in America? Race is front and center in national conversation. Racism can be more direct, more open, and more historically entrenched. Larger Black communities mean many grow up with strong cultural surroundings, HBCUs, Black churches, Black neighborhoods. That's America. Cultural identity between Black in the UK and Black in America. Identity is often a mix of British and Caribbean African cultures. Strong Afro-Caribbean influences in cities like London, that's true, that's where I live, Birmingham, and Bristol. Being Black British can feel very hybrid. Black in America. Black American culture is own distinct culture, music, language, food, traditions. African identity and Caribbean identity are separate from Black American identity. Many Black Americans grew up with a strong sense of shared struggle and pride rooted in African American history. Law enforcement and criminal justice, UK. Police brutality exists, but deaths at the hands of police are far lower in UK. Less militarized police, fewer guns among civilians. Stop and search disproportionately targets Black people. US. Police violence against Black people is a major issue. Guns are common, and the police are heavily armed. The criminal justice system has a long history of racial disparity. Opportunities and social mobility back in the UK. Social mobility is influenced by class as well as race. Some sectors like medicine, business, education shows increasing Black British representation. Black in America. Opportunities vary widely between regions. Wealth inequality between Black and white families is much bigger than in the UK. A strong Black middle class exists, but structural barriers remain high. Community and representation, UK. Fewer Black people overall, so visibility is limited. Media representation is improving but still developing. US. Black influence on music, culture, sports, politics is huge. Black Americans are seen as a major cultural force worldwide. In summary, Black in the UK, smaller Black population, more subtle racism, a blend of Caribbean African identity, police issues but less gun violence. While in America, big black population, race is openly discussed, strong African American culture, more severe police and justice issues. To subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you very much to all my subscribers, both returning and new subscribers. For new subscribers, you are so welcome. Subscribe and watch this video from the beginning until the end. So guys, to wrap up everything, we've discussed about origin and history. We discussed about cultural identity and society. We discussed about demographics. I think so. But at the end of the day, what do you think? Now, don't forget that conflicts between black groups can make people feel ashamed of their heritage, look down on their own origins, spread stereotypes about other black cultures. This destroys cultural confidence and pride. So, do you think that this is the right way of handling these matters? I believe we are all one. Thank you very much. Watch this video from the beginning until the end. Thank you very much for all my subscribers. To all my subscribers, both new and returning subscribers. To you all new subscribers, you are so welcome. Continue to support this channel to grow and bring more organic content. Thank you very much. God bless you abundantly. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Kongola mikulanta wine, Kongola mikulanta wine, ende kumulanta wine, ende kumulanti o, ende kumulanti wine, ende kumulanti o, ende kumulanti. Mama de bagari nyuma, mama yo, wagwena, mama never, de bagarinde, mama de bagarinde, stop it, de mulu ida.